We are the Myers. We met when we were younger, playing in the summertime, him at his aunt's house and me at my aunt's house. We came back together in high school and got to know each other again, but didn't start dating until college.
She's right. We met as children around, that 10-year-old age. And then we met again in high school, and we were friends in high school. I kind of liked her in high school. She wouldn't give me any play. I was a little bit too much of a player at that time in my life, so she wasn't trying to hear it. But we remained friends, and after we graduated from high school and she came home from college on Christmas break, we got together and we started dating, and we've been together ever since.
Ever since. Conversation. We started talking. It made me feel that he was the one because of how we talked. We had conversations on the phone daily. I was in college and he was here in Philly. And I just grew to start liking him more than I did when we were in high school.
I'm gonna tell you, it's funny because for men, it's usually a little bit different for us. And I think for me, I knew that she was the one when we were in high school. Mm-hmm. And I used to tell my buddies, I had these two buddies in high school, and we used to all kind of hang out together. And I used to tell them, man, one of these days I'm gonna date her. That's gonna be my girl. And he's like, man, you're never gonna get her. She's not giving you no play. It's not gonna happen. I was like, okay, y'all believe that. And so, like I said, we maintained our friendship. And then when she called me out of the blue, when she got home from school on college break, I ran into those two guys on South Street one night. And I was out with some of my other buddies, and I ran into them, and he was like, hey man, how you doing? I was like, how y'all doing? And I said, what you been up to? And he was like, what you been up to? I said, guess what? You'll never believe it. I said, me and Zina have been together. We got together after high school, and we still together. He's like, man, I never would have thought that would happen, but I knew back in high school that she was the one. I don't know how I knew, I just knew. Some things you just know, like you like chocolate ice cream. I knew I wanted her to be my woman, and it was that. I was convinced from that day.
That makes me feel good. I mean, he always used to tell me that in high school, you're gonna be with me, you're gonna be with me. And I'm like, yeah, right. But it makes me feel good that we have longevity now. How long have we been married? We have been married for 27 years.
We've been together a lot longer than that, but we've been married for 27 years because our relationship started right after high school. And it was literally right after high school. We graduated in September or June, and she came home in December, and we got together. So we've been together for over 40 years, but we've been married for 27 of those 40 years.
What drew us to marriage ministry together was just a continuation of our serving on ministry. We served at Sharon's ministry for about 6 or 7 years. Took a little bit of a break, but we've never stopped doing marriage ministry. We love serving with Charmaine and Kenny Brown. They taught us a lot, and we just love serving and fellowshipping with the couples.
Yeah, as my wife said, we first served as members of the Sharon Baptist Church Marriage Ministry, and then we were asked to join the leadership team of that ministry, and we served on the leadership team of that ministry for about 6 or 7 years. Mm-hmm. And we took a little break. And as far as marriage ministry together is concerned, we've been involved with Charmaine and Kenny Brown because we were under them at Sharon's ministry, but also we've been involved with marriage ministry together since its inception. We were one of the first couples to be a part of that ministry and all that it's done over the years.
One of the hurdles that we had in our marriage was, it's not that our marriage wasn't a good marriage. I had issues with trust. So I think once I started coming to marriage ministry and marriage ministry together, I started learning how to trust my husband more. And we started serving together on ministry and also growing in our faith with God.
I mean, I definitely felt the impact of it. I mean, one of the things that had been kind of a foundation, one of the founding things in our relationship was, when we first started dating, it's that thing where you have to, as a man, you have to kind of always convince the woman that you love her. You have to constantly show her love and care, and you're constantly proving yourself. And, one of the things that was one of the bases of our relationship early on was that I had a reputation of being somewhat of a ladies' man, and things of that nature. And so when I initially said to her, hey, you're gonna be with me. We're gonna be together one day. I like you. I want to be. She never really believed that then. And as we got together and as time went on, whatever her trust issues were, it was a thing for me of always having to prove to her that you're the one for me, that I'm here because I love you. I'm here because I believe in us and our relationship, and this is where I want to be and what I want to do. So it impacted me in that, I had to continually reinvent myself that way to constantly prove it. But how God brought us through that hurdle was He allowed me to continue to love her through that, even though she had doubts. Like, I was able to just, because I believed it. I believed that she was the person for me and that God is who she was who God gave me. And even if she wasn't 100% sure yet, then I was just going to stick it out and I was just going to be there. And He brought us through that hurdle. Like, He really did bring us through that hurdle. It was just a thing for me to not get discouraged, because it's difficult when someone is not completely able to give you all of themselves, when you feel like you're giving them all of yourself. But I understood that, it would take time. And once, she decided and understood that, this is who he is and what this really is, and that he's telling me, he's being honest and true with me, and he's really giving me his heart. She truly gave me her heart, and it opened up our marriage to new heights. I mean, it gave us a greater appreciation for each other, for our relationship, and our love just deepened after that. I mean, it really did.
So I think that at that point, that was a hurdle that brought us through, and just kept us, and He's still keeping us. What I would say to a couple that's going through mistrust is, one, pray about it. Give it to God, pray about it, and be honest. Be honest with each other, and also communicate. And if you are having difficulties with that, then be accountable. Find someone that you can be accountable to, marriage ministry, someone that you trust, that can help you through the hard times. During our marriage, when I used to give myself to him in each way, my trust issue was that I'm doing all of this, but you're going to end up leaving me. And that's not always true. As women, sometimes we have our own misconceptions. We have to be honest with ourselves as well, and be accountable to each other. And just let God take over. Pray about it. Pray before you talk. Pray after you talk. And just keep God first. And you'll watch your marriage grow.
I think it's a difference if the trust issues are coming from the woman not trusting or coming from the man not trusting. Because I think for men, when men lose trust a lot of times in their relationship, a lot of times for them, depending on what that issue is, and usually for men, the level of trust is usually because of some type of infidelity. For us, because usually for most men, we can get by just about anything but that. So if that's the issue, for a lot of men, it's a deal breaker. But I think that you can get through that, you can get past that. We've never had to experience that, but I think that you can. And I think that what my wife said is true. I think you have to pray about it. I think you have to give it to God. I think that you have to first and foremost be honest with yourself, with what your true feelings are, and then be honest with that person. And you have to forgive. And you have to truly forgive that other person, because if God forgave you for anything and everything that you've done. You have to forgive that other person. And if you can forgive that other person, then you can move on and you can find a way. But you can't do it in your own strength. You have to have God to lean on to help you get to that. But you have to forgive. You have to have accountability. You have to talk. And you need time to work it out. And And you also have to be willing to accept the fact that maybe the other person may not ever be able to come around to trusting you ever again, or you even to trusting them ever again. So you have to be willing to accept that eventuality. But I think that with God's help and with hard work and determination and that communication piece, really talking to each other and really just bearing your soul to each other, that you can get through that and you can make it work, because God can make anything work.
I would recommend Marriage Ministry Together because of the teaching. You learn how to improve your marriage. It's God-filled. And even it'll meet you where you are, whether you've been married less than 5 years, more than 5 years. There's something for each of us to learn about marriage. It will grow your marriage. You'll have fun, fellowship with other couples, and just continue to learn. And you can take it and teach somebody else. Each one teach one.
To have a good relationship or to have a good marriage, and then to understand that marriage was created by God and what God says marriage is supposed to be and how you're supposed to do it based on His word. So for me, that's really important, because today most people don't really understand what marriage is or why you get married or how it was created or what it's for. And so for me, we initially had a good marriage. We thought we had a good marriage, and we did. But then for me, it was a thing of, I found out what God said I was supposed to be doing in my marriage. He said, as a husband, this is what you should be doing. As a godly man, this is what you should be doing. And I realized that I was falling short. But Marriage Ministry Together also taught us those lessons that we didn't know and we didn't have. But it allowed us to fellowship with other couples. As a married couple, you don't always get to have friends in common, or couples that you can go out and do things with. It allowed us to have couples that we could go out with. It allowed us to learn to communicate, to teach other people, to grow our marriage in ways that we never thought would even be possible. Just because we were under the teaching, we were learning, we were communicating with other couples, seeing what their struggles were, seeing what their issues were, but also seeing their triumphs. And the things that they've come through and how God had brought them through certain things, and seeing just being around other people who think like you do, who believe what you believe, and we're all striving for the same thing. We're all striving to have a good relationship, to have a good, strong marriage, and or good, strong relationship, whatever works for you to help that to grow. It can be an aid. I don't care if you're going through problems or you're not going through problems, just to be able to find new ways to enhance what you already have. Marriage Ministry Together is a place to allow you to do that. It's a place where you can come with your spouse and you can learn individually, you can learn, collectively you can learn as a couple. It's a great experience. It has been for us.
It helped us stay committed. It helped us to stay focused. It helped us to grow in our spiritual life as a couple. It helped us to be better individually and collectively as a couple. And it's helped us to just learn about marriage. It helped us to just continue to just grow in all the areas. It helped us to grow in our trust. And we always said when we got married that divorce wasn't an option for us. So we continue to strive with Marriage Ministry Together because it's just another vehicle for us to learn. It will help you wherever you are, and you learn as women, as men, and as couples.
Marriage Ministry Together has helped us as a couple by allowing us to have a place that we could go together and serve God together. A lot of times when you are doing any type of ministry or any type of service, you tend to serve individually. We found that we wanted to serve together. We wanted to find a way where we could be together and we could serve together. And Marriage Ministry allowed us to do that. How Marriage Ministry Together has helped our marriage is it's helped us to grow. It's helped us to learn different ways to communicate. It's helped us to meet other couples and have friendships with other couples, which prior to us being involved with marriage ministry, we didn't have a lot of married couples that were our friends that we could do things with. It also helped us be able to teach others what we know and what we've learned. We found over time that people watch you. People are watching, even when you don't think that they are. You go about your mundane life every day and you just do what you do, and you don't think that people are watching, but people are watching. And we found that people have been watching, and people have said things to us over the years, how do you do it, and asked us questions. So it's allowed us to not only teach them what we've done and show them what we've done, but also open the door to them and say, hey, if you want to learn what we learned, this is how you do it. We also have children who are adult children now. Our daughter and our son-in-law have, they just recently got married, and it's a platform also for us to help them as a younger couple. We can not only be an ocular demonstration of what marriage is supposed to be for our family and for our children, but we can also reach back and teach them and the young people in their sphere and anybody that we come to. My wife just said something important: each one teach one. We have to start in where our sphere of influence is. You start at your house and with your kids' friends, and you move out from there. So it's been a vehicle for us to be able to learn what God wants us to do, what God wants you to do in your marriage, as well as share that with other couples and share that with younger people. And it's just been a great thing, and it's helped us tremendously just grow our relationship and our marriage over time.
Three things that I love about Bryant, that he has grown so much spiritually with God. He is a God-fearing man, a hard worker, a loving father.
Wow. Three things that I love about Zina. Woo! We got a list here, but let me whittle my list down to three things. First and foremost, and this may sound a little bit selfish, but I don't think that it is. One of the main things that I love about Zina is that she loves me for me. We walk around sometimes and everybody wears a mask. You show different people different facades of you, who you are, but she sees me. And that's important, that the person that you love loves you and sees you, and she sees me, and she loves me for me. And more than anything, that's one of the most important things that I love about her. The other thing that I love about her is that even though she's serious most of the time and she's no nonsense, and anybody who knows her, she is not for the foolishness. So you should know that from the beginning. But the thing about her that I love is she is one of the funniest people I have ever met in my life. She makes me laugh. I laugh at her all the time, and she taps me on the arm, stop laughing at me. But I think that she's funny.
Stop laughing at me.
And the third thing that I can say about her is her capacity to love. She has a big heart, and she cares more than most people would ever know. It may not show on her face, it may not show outwardly, but she cares deeply for people. She cares deeply for our children. She's a fantastic mother and grandmother, but she has a huge heart. And some people may not be able to get past her demeanor, so to speak, but she's that heart, man. God has given her a heart that is so big. And if you get to know her, you will get to know her heart, and that's important.
Thanks, babe. One thing that makes me feel loved is when he cooks me breakfast. I like when he cooks breakfast on the weekend. I can sit back, I can have my tea, we listen to some jazz while we're cooking breakfast. But before that, we get up and we have devotionals and we pray. But that is it when he cooks me breakfast.
Wow. I think one thing that I love that Zina does for me is he believes in me when nobody else does. She's never doubted any of my ability to be or do anything. She really bolsters me in a way behind the scenes that you don't see. In a lot of ways, she's my strength. I remember a number of years ago when our children were small, after we have twin girls, and after she had the twins, she had gotten sick, and she wasn't able to care for the kids and wasn't able to do as much for our family as she wanted to. And it really, was hard for her. But during that time, I just remember her, still trying to be strong for me, still trying to, bolster me up. And I can remember telling a friend that, you know, I love her so much because she makes me stronger. She makes me feel that I can do anything because she's with me. And that's what she does for me. She's my strength. She shelters my heart. I love her so much. I love you.